Greetings. This is Skyler speaking. What's current? Scene. It's early, so I gotta get my wits together. But I want to do a Sunday show early for you all on the East Coast, very early for the Central Time, and extremely early for uh, those on the West Coast. But I have a global audience. There's people in the UK, there's people in different parts of Canada, there's people in New Zealand, there's people in Nigeria, and all over the world that have tuned in to see me. So I appreciate that. Now, I just want to do a quick update on what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to a dedication of a young child under the Christian banner. Yes, I am an atheist, and it is my job to be rational and objective in everything I do in every part of my life. And I'm able to appreciate what the Christian faith does and who they associate with and what they do. I don't like it necessarily, but I respect it. Probably the most important part and aspect of this whole thing. Because if you look at it, I was a part of the faith for 16 years, from age 3 to 19. And my dad will still hold that I'm a Christian. I'm more Christian than most Christians. Uh, okay, Baja Jackson, salute. 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's right. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I'm accepting tens and twenties. So get your money right. His goal is $80. All right, so Baja Jackson's on the check-in. Hopefully, whoever, I don't know if it's a female or male, cash out. Yeah, right here. I'm looking for tens and twenties. 1 second. Here it is. One moment, folks. Get my money. I'm getting my money right. I'm getting my weight up. Get my business together. All right, so yeah, dedication to a young child. This is the beginning of hatred. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hatred. Because it's like you're trapped. You don't have a choice. You're when you become a teenager or you're older in years, or maybe you're 6 years old, and you look and say, "Well, there is no God." And then they're like, "Oh my, how could you say that?" And oh my goodness, this is just terrible. But you were born into it. You didn't have a choice. They didn't say, "Well, you have a choice whether to believe in God or not." I didn't have that choice. I didn't get that choice. Maybe somebody else did. But I really believed there was a God. I prayed at night. I prayed in the morning. I prayed before I ate my meals. Had great, grace. I still participated in it, even though I don't lead it. I look around. That's my favorite time too. My favorite time is during grace, and I see the other people with their eyes open, looking around, and it's it's just amazing to see. It's an amazing sight to behold. These so-called Christians are following the letter of the law. Your head bowed in submission, eyes closed, and reflection. And people don't understand that. People don't get it. They really don't understand how that functions, how that works. To the people that believe, I at least give them the benefit of the doubt, and I give them more praise than somebody who's agnostic, who crawls on their belly, as Ayn Rand says, from one side of the field to the other and then back again, and can't really decide on which side to use to do to approve of, to be on. That's the sickness of it. That's what's sad about the whole issue, is that people don't understand the reality of it. People don't understand how christenings, baptisms, dedications, different things like that, they go into the idea of starting out a child's life, directing it to something that's not rational, that's not real, that's not true, something that's not part of reality. And that's what's so sad. That's what makes things so much worse, so much more terrible. But again, I have to say that I respect the fact that Christians hold on to a belief. They're very serious about theirs. And it's a weird thing because their mascot, Jesus of Nazareth, was a wimp and a weakling and kind of soft. And they all say he has all the power in his hands, and every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that he is Lord, and all this talk had nothing to do with it. She was talking about football and what they're going to eat for Sunday dinner and everything like that. It's not even, it's like they think about secular because there is the only secular, there is no supernatural. Because what do you say? You ask them, okay, there's a God. What evidence is there? And then they look around and usually wave their hands. Okay, all of this is either one thing or the other, nature or mind made. Because I don't even use the term man made, I use mind made. I'm looking at a computer screen, I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at all different pieces of furniture and everything that makes up this room, all these hats, all this Cowboys gear. It all amounts to something. Amounts to acknowledgement that this all came from somebody's brain, or brains that got together as individuals and didn't. Oh, okay. Baha, Ja- Baha Jackson, I disagree with you. He didn't turn over the tables, but that was nothing. That was nothing. It was just, he had a hissy fit. He was in a tizzy. They were trying to change over the currencies like you would do now, from euro to dollar or something like that. And he got frustrated, saying, you're not going to do this in my father's house, which was based on, again, unreality, unreason. He was completely a weakling. He wasn't really all that powerful. I mean, they say he had all these different he had different miracles. Like, take the 5,000 souls he fed, allegedly, with the bread and the fish. So he made lunch. Great. Wow, how amazing is that? He turned water into wine. Wonderful. He can help with dinner parties. What is that about? He raised Lazarus from the dead. Was Lazarus really dead, or was he hung over? Who knows? But I'm just getting those from Patton Oswalt and George Carlin, by the way. They helped me realize, my atheism. Um, it was just that serious. But Baja Jackson, did you hit that Cash App yet, though? That Cash App is very vital. I'm serious about that. I appreciate it. But and probably put water over her forehead and all this. Sent her on another journey of irrationality and completely devoid of reason. Um, it's sad. Making lunch is a big deal. Not in my book. Not when it comes to great figures in mythology. That doesn't really count as much. Hercules had more tasks and more challenges and things of that nature. If you want to talk about the Greek mythology, um, and so many others. Have you ever fed 5,000 people? You know what? I've never fed 5,000 people, but that still doesn't amount to a miracle. That's nothing. I mean, what is a miracle? Miracles are anything related to subjective or something that's not based in reality. I mean, I don't know, but you're asking a lot of questions about how Jackson. I appreciate you engaging, but did you send the Cash App yet? I know Cash App was acting kind of funny with the money, but are you a willing donor to this machine? I got up early in the morning so I could get on this channel, this live, so I can talk to the people, tell them the truth about what my day is going to be like later on. I'm being focused on getting this young woman, this young lady, this young female, this little girl, see her and her parents, her dedicated, mystified parents, take on the day. I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet, Baha Jackson. I'll let you know when it comes up, though. Because Cash App has been acting kind of funny lately, so I don't know if it's a miracle I sent you $10. I don't see the $10. I'm looking at it right now. Looking at it right now. I don't see it. The person, it's only me. I don't know what you mean by that, but make sure it goes through. Make sure it's authenticated. Make sure it's real, and that you hit that tap that app button. I appreciate it. Yes, it's the person. Oh, you're saying for well, I see two people in the viewership um part. There's one other person in here somewhere. I would imagine maybe there's three or four other people, but the YouTube algorithm is kind of goofy. But anyway, I digress. So they go through these rituals, and it's ironic. People say, objectivism is a cult. It's a cult. Oh no. All right, there it goes. Baha Jackson on the for the $10. That's what I'm talking about. Baha Jackson, you are the truth. Yeah, the truth. That you're the truth. Because I'm taking tens and twenties. I'm not taking anything less than tens and twenties. I gotta get my weight up. Gotta get my weight up right now. The holiday season is upon us. It's gonna be soon. It's gonna be quick, fast, and hurry. By the time October gets here, it's already in the swing of things. Because Christmas really starts in July. They say Christmas in July, so people get that stuff ready. Around that time. And October is the time where they get. I don't know what it's called. I'm trying to remember what the name is called. But go for it today. It's when you put away money and you have that saved up by the time October runs around, and you're able to get different gifts for Christmas. Go for today, $70. Thanks to Baha Jackson. Salute to that person. I don't know if that's a female or a male. I don't know. Baha. Are you a male or a female? I can't tell. But I appreciate your business. I certainly do. I got up this morning, got $10. This is what if I can do a quick aside. This is what it's about, folks. You do a serious, sincere job, and people will reward you for it. I didn't do any research for this, but this is part of my opinion and my idea. Well, I did research over time. I didn't do specific research for today, but I can look up what a dedication is for a child. It says, this is from Google, a baby dedication is a ceremony for babies younger than 2 in which a Christian father and mother make a commitment before the Lord to submit a child to God's will and to raise that child according to God's word and God's ways. Beautiful, beautiful hatred. Setting up for more destruction and failure and frustration instead of happiness, enjoyment, and fulfillment. You're guiding this child, they're guiding this child along a pathway of self-doubt and misunderstanding. That's what it's all about. That's what Christianity is. And that's what the sad part is about Christianity in the beginning, in the first place. Because you have to have faith. It's literally like they're glad to have it. Like they don't. It's like reason. When I'm doing math problems or when I'm driving behind a car, of course. If 95% of the world is theists, then there has to be some really smart people. I mean, people with double doctorates and people with advanced degrees, and not even have degrees. They may not even have degree one, and they're very intelligent, highly and skilled, and they believe in God. Because who prominent doesn't believe in God completely, and who prominent is an objectivist? If that's at all possible, if that's permissible in reality. No, it's a trade. It's a trade you have to do. So I'm gonna go to this dedication and look at the hatred. Look at the beautiful hatred that goes on in this space during this church service. That's what this beautiful hatred is about. It's all about being completely selfless. See, I'm selfish. I'm rationally self-interested. See, that's the thing. You say, oh, he's just being selfish. Oh, she's so selfish. Oh, they're all selfish. Never, or hardly ever. Well, I'm selfish sometimes. Oh, I'm just being selfish. Oh, they use it facetiously. If not an outright attack, they use it to be, comical or cynical or playful. They don't use it as the real root of the word. Rational self-interest, and the definition, concern with one's own self-interest. Now, that doesn't provide a moral value, but it gets to the point of what it actually is. That's the ethics of objectivism. Rational self-interest or selfishness. Self-esteem. Knowing who you are, knowing what you can do, knowing what you're about. Knowing everything that is possible for you. That's the main part of all this. That's the key. So when you have that bit of knowledge that you can rest on, that you can use, then it's something that is special. But when you have faith, anything goes. Anything goes. You can say, I believe that purple giraffes could be born from yellow elephants. Like, what? Because that would be a miracle, by the way. That's what a miracle is. When it's completely, out of sync with reality. Out of sync with congruency. So, you know what I mean? Being congruent. Congruence. I think that's the word. So this dedication is going to be, I can already see it. I see them, going up in the pasture laying hands. Like I said, probably put some water or something. And the baby might be crying, but everybody knows, oh, it's just a baby. Oh, she's so cute. And they're on the road to destruction. That's what Christianity leads to. I have 0 viewers right now, but I thank Baja Jackson for coming through and dropping that $10 on my Cash App. I appreciate that sincerely, because I was like, I got to get up. I gotta get out of this bed. I gotta do something. And like I said, there's people in the UK, there's people in parts of Asia, parts of Africa, parts of Europe, other parts of Europe that are tuning in right now or can tune in right now. And I just appreciate that. I woke up and got $10. It's beautiful. The principle of that. If I woke up and got $10 million, I woke up and got $10 billion. It's all in the principle. So I'm applying logic, reason, and understanding to problems that are real and sincere, that are true. And that's what I think is so important to say that there's another way of looking at things. There's another way of understanding things. Because everybody has these rules. There's various faiths that have dedication rituals that are from Judaism to Islam to Buddhism to Hinduism. They start them all young. That's how it is. Get them while they're young. Get them while they're young. And it took me, damn, 16 years to really shrug off that big boulder, that big world, and go my own way and know what I'm talking about. That's the most powerful thing in the world. To know that there is no God. Like, it's ironic, it's very ironic. 95% of people don't believe in something or do believe in something that isn't there. That doesn't exist. There's no there, as Dr. Yaron Brook would say. There's no there. It's completely devoid of all reason and truth and reality. And we're still fighting. And it's worse because it's like a wildfire. Hot spots pop up, and you gotta douse those, and then more hot spots over here come up. You gotta douse those. It's very difficult, and people's lives are online. And that's the thing that fascinates me. It's like when crack cocaine first hit, it was like, oh my God, how's this happen? I was just a baby when it really was in its height, and what's so sickening and sad is that it's like the trap for not just for crack cocaine but for all drugs and alcohol and everything like that, and heroin, everything. You you have a story. You come up, you're a regular kid. You go to school, you go to college maybe, or you don't go to college. You work some jobs, and you say, I want to feel some way. I gotta use this drug. I'm not gonna get addicted. You get addicted. Then you go, you get rehab, you get a chip, and you understand that there's only room for you to be selfless, unselfish. That's when you're to the point of unselfishness and selflessness. That's it for you. But nobody knows that. And that's the thing. People become, pastors and ministers and stuff like that after they are done with their crack addiction or their alcoholism or something like that. And they fall to the feet of the Father and they pray for forgiveness. And of course, they're forgiven. Of course, they are, in the eyes of the Lord, taken under his wing. And that's what's so beautiful about the hatred of mysticism. It is so overpowering. I was under the spell. I was seriously under the spell. I was really there. Because you got to be deep. I was deep in the church. I was deep in the church. When I last got out, you have to become a new member. You got to you got to get baptized. Then you become a new member. You get new members classes. Then you get Bible study. Then you get Sunday school. Then you get into the choir. Then you become president of the choir. I might have missed a few steps here and there, but you get the picture. It's deep. It's really deep. It's nothing to play around with either. It's no joke. No joke at all. Because these are people's lives. There's people who actually like want to go to battle, go to war for Jesus. And that's the goofy thing too. We say all this stuff, we talk all this, trash, we say all this stuff against each other. We're cynical, we're backbiting and all that. And then we say, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, in the name of the blood, in the name of the Father. And that's how it goes. That's how weird we are, especially Americans, especially Americans. And I'm talking to America and the world, but I'm doing this from the reference point of a former Christian, former Baptist Christian, former Black Baptist Christian. See, it goes even deeper. I'm telling you, this is deep. It's deep. A former Black Baptist Christian. That's what I'm talking about. And we're coming out of the age of George W. Bush, who had the compassionate conservatism all lined up. He had the born again Christian idea all lined up. And then you had President Obama, who didn't wear his, his faith on his sleeve until he got to the point about talking about getting rid of, or suggesting, I should say, that they should get rid of the Department of Defense because of the Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. He actually said that. Look it up. It's in a speech. Okay, so he was saying how here goes. Barack Obama said Jesus' sermon on the Mount was so radical that the Defense Department wouldn't survive the application. Wouldn't survive its application. He said that. I'm telling you. That's what I remember. That's why I had to look it up. Tell you. He questioned whether there should be a Department of Defense because of Jesus' speech on the Mount, his Sermon on the Mount. That's how disgusting this goes. The one of the pillars, one of the vertebrae of the backbone of this country is the military, is the Department of Defense, and the what are there 6 branches now, 5 branches? Marines, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, Space Force, Navy. Yeah, 6. Okay, 6. And of course, National Guard and everything like that. But could you imagine? Let's get rid of the Department of Defense because of Jesus. We don't need Department of Defense. Hold on, hold. I'm going to be a part of the Department of Defense, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to kill as many people and then ask for forgiveness later on. Then I'll be absolved from my sins and everything will be all right. What? No. Kill the bastards and be proud of it. Be selfish in that regard. Know who you're talking about. Know who you're talking to. Get that in your mind. Let that be known. Use that as reason. Use that as fuel for the fire. Allow that to seep into your consciousness. I mean, this baby dedication, it's got me going now. It's got me understanding different ideas. I'm sure I was christened, or maybe I was dedicated too. I don't know, but I don't remember it. It's too young. All I remember is when I was 3 years old and I had a yellow tambourine saying where I go, saying where everywhere I go with Jesus. We got one person in here. Let's see. Baja Jackson dropped $10. I'm looking for tens and twenties. Whoever you are, speak up or forever hold your true your peace. Talking about Jesus. Jesus on the main line. Tell him what you want. I can't say much more. I'll probably get a copyright strike. So tens and twenties. That's all I'm asking for. Tens and twenties. Whoever you are, you came in this room. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's get this paper. All right. The dedication is going to be today, and I'm going to look forward to it. I'm gonna see the beautiful hatred that will be spouted from the good book, quote unquote. And we'll see and I'll let you know what happens. I'll let you know what happens. I'll give a recap. I'll recap it. All right. One person in here. Usually it's gonna be 0 people in here. I don't know who you are, but you're still not. You're still being quiet. Let yourself be known in the live chat. Whoever you are out there in the internet zone, and in the web, in the World Wide Web. But I must talk about ruler of the kingdom of the air. It is coming closer and closer, closer. Okay. Today is the 24th over in the East Coast of America, United States. And I am so proud of this work, of this opportunity to be completely conspicuous and obvious and out there with the ideas that I've laid out. Like I said, I just read it. So I just wrote it the other day. So it just flows. I'm patting myself on the back right now. I'm doing it. It deserves to be number one. It deserves to be in the first place. But either way, I got something for that. You know what? I got something for that. Just in case something doesn't go the way I expected it to. I don't want a place. I don't want bronze. I don't want silver. I want gold. I want the first place. I put in work for this story. I had to do some light research. Usually, most of it is just fantastic. It's all fantasy. I'm a fantasist. Fantasyist. Fanaticist. I guess that's you put the stress on the other vowel. Fanaticist. I think with this story, it brings together all the amounts. Whoever you, who are you? I don't know who you are. You keep jumping in and out. I see one viewer. Who are you? Let me know who you are so we can discuss business. Baja Jackson is the truth. Came through with $10. Didn't have to. Didn't have to. Came through early in the morning. Just got on here. Saw my face. Said, hey, I'm gonna give this man his money. Pause. But it's amazing. It just the words leap off the page. That's such a cliche. But cliches are true. That's why they're cliches. It's just overused and overspent. That's the power of what we have as people. We use our minds. We're human beings. We can make these tall skyscrapers. We can make hospitals. We can make mansions. We can make iPhones. We can make MacBooks. We can make sneakers, all from our thoughts. Oh, what is this? God? Jesus did this? Really? Are you sure? Once you read ruler of the kingdom of the air, you will truly understand at least a glimpse of what it means to be rational, what it means to be thoughtful, what it means to be thankful to yourself and to your way of living. That's why it's so important to recognize that. That's why it's so important to realize that. That's why it's so important to have a system of understanding, not a system of beliefs, but a system of truth, of basic reality. And that's what the rule of the kingdom of the air does. It expounds upon the idea of a person searching and wanting to identify their own child and what he is in this world. That's what's so powerful. That's what brings almost a tear to my eye because there's so many people. There's billions of people. As Carl Sagan has been misquoted as saying, billions and billions. The late great Carl Sagan, of course. He never really said billions and billions. That's McDonald's. He just said he might have just said billions, but he didn't say billions and billions. But he's been attributed as that. Just like Sally Field didn't say, "You like me, you really like me." She didn't say that. She said something like that. But this story, I'm ready to adapt it into a screenplay. I'm ready to adapt it into a movie. Ready to continue on with the chapters. I want more chapters into this story. I'm gonna see what happens with the placement because there's gonna be a lot of people. It's crowded. It used to be few people on vocal. When they had the challenges, you can probably win. You had a better chance of winning than most. You had a higher percentage of qualifying and actually placing or even winning a challenge. Nowadays, they got plenty of more people. They got at least 1 million people crowding the way. So there's a lot of people on there, but I'm gonna get to a point where it's gonna be like so many people are gonna be taking into account the fact that this story stands on its own. It's the truth. It's reality. It doesn't have to cower or kowtow to anyone. It's its own self. It's a person. It's an end in itself. Not ends to the means of anything else, like or anyone else in a person. But it stands on its own. It's one of the greatest lessons I learned from Ayn Rand. She said, essentially, a book doesn't have to be written for entertainment purposes or anything like that. It just exists. You create it, you make it, and it's its own person. It's like a human being. You write a story, you write a book, and it becomes its own entity without question. So, given the state of the world, given what's going on, given what's at play, even at the time of the story, which is 1988 when it opens. It opens in 1988, and it just makes you question things. Makes you ask yourself, well, why would this person be born at this time during this era at this place? Why not in another time or era or place? Why at this time? Why this era? Why? You keep asking why. Like I have a little niece. She's a toddler. She's 2 years old. She just asks, "Well, why? Why? Why?" And parents, they get frustrated. They get, sometimes they get angry, or they get cynical. I love it. I never, get roll my eyes or suck my teeth. Well, because I don't say, well, because of this, because of that, because of that. Because it's fascinating to see this little person want to know the real world, the 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 spaces and the different objects and the different conditions that she's under. She wants to understand the world, and that ties back to this dedication. This dedication is kind of like what happens with um, the child and ruler of the kingdom of the air. It's almost exactly like it. They're taking on a role and bringing in the identity of this child. That's how it goes with rule of the kingdom of the air. It's all about identity. It's all about searching. It's all about self-discovery. Because in the process of the father, Green Stockwell, looking forward to being a part of his son's life, he has to understand what is going on in the child's world, what's going on in what's surrounding him, the circumstances surrounding him, what that truly means. And that's what people neglect. People forget about all that. People don't want to understand that. People don't get it. But that's all right. It's just like the millions and millions of people, millions and millions, the millions of people who have read Ayn Rand's books. When only maybe less than a quarter, maybe 10% actually are objectivists after reading Ayn Rand's books. They're like, after they finish the book, Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, We Living, all her nonfiction, Anthem, they say, that was a good story, or that was a good read. Well, I got to get back to being a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew. Pardon me. Or even atheist. I got to get back to being an atheist and a socialist at the same time. It's goofy. Rule of the king of the air. What can I say that already has been said 10,000 times? Right? It's about love. Objectivism is the philosophy of love. But you have to understand through the lens of objective hate. That's how I got to understand objectivism, was through objective hate. I had read objectivism before. I read Mr. Troy Star Terrain's book, but in the interim, I was questioning, what it was about. Then I tied it, like he said, he tied the two together, objectivism and hate, and he brought his own philosophy out and brought it to the world. Now anyone can be an objective hater. Anyone can be an objectivist. For how long and to what extent and how much consistency? How much does that take you to being a real person, a person of values, a person of worth, a person of truth? How long does that take? I wonder. Does it even rest upon your soul, to put it into Christian terms, the idea of being your own person? Or are you a follower? Not a follower. Followers are okay. If you're following somebody that's, just in the speak of the internet, especially, you have followers on YouTube and X. Not YouTube, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. I see one person in the viewer hit that Cash App. I'm asking for 10s and 20s. Today's goal is $70 thanks to Baja Jackson. I just woke up in the morning. All right, you're gone. But I'm going to still talk. Baja Jackson dropped $10 on me for waking up this morning, which I had. I had this MacBook, by the way, for almost 10 years. Got it in 2013. And November, I think it was. Yeah. So there's that. But ruler of the kingdom of the air. I'm the only one promoting this right now as I'm speaking. There's nobody else in the entire world that is talking about ruler of the kingdom of the air. I can guarantee you that. Right now, at this second, at this moment, in this room, no one else is talking about ruler of the kingdom of the air. No one. Not one person. Not a single person. Not one person. But me. That's how selfish I am. Talking about my own story. And of course, I trade with other people. I'm not, people think it's like, oh, you're selfish, you're mocking, you're nasty, you're mean, you're miserly. All those things are thrown out the window when you come to the reality of what selfishness means. When you come to the realization that it is about truth and understanding, you get a better look at what it means. You understand better what it means to be yourself. And that's rule of the kingdom of the air. It is hinting at the idea of selfishness, individualism, capitalism, reason. Put it in order: reason, individualism, and capitalism. That's what they all mean. That's what's all true. As someone who is dedicated to the ideal that we're all parts of gumbo. I always like to use the gumbo version. Are you a piece of corn? Are you a piece of sausage? Are you a piece of what goes in gumbo? Onion, maybe I think is going on. I don't know. But the point of gumbo is a melting pot. Literally is a melting pot. That's what this country is. That's what New York City is. That's what a lot of parts of this world, don't understand about the United States is that, or some people used to understand about the United States, is that, Jewish people and Polish people and Italians and blacks and Irishmen and all other kinds can come together and be as one, but distinct in their own ethnicities. That's the part with the gumbo. You're all in this together, but you're one as one. There's one unit. You're still a singular person. You're still a one individualized entity. That's what should be stated. That's what should be, declared. So, ruler of the kingdom of the air, it breaks down what it means to say you're your own boss. You're a boss. Even if you work for somebody else, you're a boss in terms of knowing who you are and what you do and why you do it. You're a boss. Green Stockwell is a boss. Gambina Stockwell is a boss. Even Melick, to some extent, in the story, is a boss. But you have to understand why he says the thing he says, and what makes Green Stockwell so individualized. That's what's so important. And when you have things like, I'm gonna tie this back to dedication. This is a time of where ruler would have been dedicated, but as you were reading the story, both of his parents are atheists. So I'm not gonna give too much away, but I'm just gonna give you that little tidbit. He would have probably been dedicated. Most likely, he would have been dedicated. There's a good chance he would have been. Not yet there. He's not yet at that point where he completely understands what's going on. He's almost there. He's Stockwell is almost there. He's just about there. He's almost at the precipice. He's got ingenuity on his side, being ingenious, creating and making and building. That's the key to this. That's all there is to this. That's all there is. It's everything. Everything that makes sense, everything that's rational, everything that's true. It all comes down to this. Is amazing. That's what makes this even better. That's what gives this light. Because people are I always think about people as the Winky guard. I mean, it's not as simple as that. Oh, by the way, Winky guard is those like soldier figures, and the Wizard of Oz in the 1939 version. They're like, we're about this witch. We got to protect her. She's our master. She's our lord. She's our ruler, quote unquote. No pun intended. But we're all about her. Everything's all about her. And then when Dorothy wasn't even trying to. Again, the innocence. This is part of mythology as well. The innocence and the philosophy of the Wizard of Oz. The house lives on the sister, the witch of the what was it, the witch of the east, the witch of the south. I don't know, but the witch's sister, and Dorothy didn't have anything to do with it. She's not trying to kill anybody. She just happens to she just happens to have her house fall on her. Then you have it later, the scarecrow is on fire, and she takes a pail of water and dashes him. In the process, she splashes the Witch of the West and causes her to melt. And I say all that to say this is that the Winky Guard are like, you killed her. You killed the Wicked Witch of the West. And they're like, yay! Like, we don't really like her ass anyway. Like, okay, let's keep going. All right, glory to Dorothy. We don't really like her in the beginning. Good for us. I'm glad she's dead. Good riddance. And she wasn't even trying to kill her. It wasn't like she was, plotting to murder her. She knew she was evil. She knew she was bad. But That's the thing. That's the thing about all the different faiths of the world. There's a semblance that once you unlock that last key on the straitjacket of faith, you're able to at least break free. You might be still in the padded cell, but you might be able to break free. You might be able to have some kind of reprieve, if that is at all possible. So just take that as it is. Take that as it is. The winky guard. Just think about how I don't think it would happen. I doubt that it would happen that way. People are very, very ingrained. It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely that we will see atheists, objectivists, people like that in our midst in great numbers. And for good reason, in a lot of ways. Ayn Rand said it herself. She said, let there not be, 100 million, a billion, billions of objectivists. Let that be. Let that be the truth. Let that be real. Because she would rather have, one objectivist than 100 so-called objectivists who pray to Jesus on one day and another day will be reading and abiding by the seven um, virtues and living according to the three cardinal values. She wouldn't want that. She didn't want that. I don't want that. I want it to be as organic as possible. And that's weird coming from me because I love GMOs. GMOs are great. But no, I see in the future, every time, I go to some place or somewhere, especially in Newark, in Delaware, which Delaware is just a gigantic small town. It's an oxymoron, but it's the truth. It's real. You will bump into somebody that you know from somewhere completely different. Just going about your day-to-day business, going to the stores, going to the shops, getting groceries, You run into somebody and say, hey, how you doing? So we stop by. This is how the dedication thing works. We stopped by one of the famous bakeries in the country and one of the best, Bing's Bakery in Newark, Delaware, right on Main Street. And we bump into somebody that we know. And she's like, hey, how you doing? It's been a long time since you've been at this particular church. I go to a church with my dad that's called Word of Life. And I used to go to a church called this one that she goes to, Love of Christ Church. And I have an understanding that she wanted us to be present at this christening or just dedication. Let me be more precise. So my dad's like, confirmation, confirmation. He always says that. Confirmation, confirmation. What are we confirming? There's nothing to confirm. There's no God. There's no heaven. There's no hell. And that's another thing too. What about hell? I'm going there for the company. Mark Twain said it best. You go to heaven for the weather, you go to hell for the company. It's the truth. And what is wrong with the prince of darkness? What's wrong with darkness? Does that mean it's evil? I mean, in the sense of enlightenment, yes. In that metaphorical sense, it is. It's anti-life. It's anti-man. The Dark Ages. Then you have a rebirth. You have the Renaissance. You have the Age of Enlightenment. The key and emphasis on light. So that's all I want to say about dedication and rule of the kingdom of the air. Thank you very much. I appreciate Baja Jackson. We had a quick conversation. Wasn't there for too long. Bob Jackson is one of the realest. I appreciate that $10. I'm only asking for $10 and $20 for gift ones and fives. I ain't got time for that. Life is way too fast. Not short, but it's fast. It moves too fast for me to consider. So I thank you. I appreciate it. And have a great Sunday. If you're going to church, have a great Sunday. Live your life. Be objective when you're in church. Understand what's the differences between mysticism and realism and reality and reason. And with that note, I'll probably see you tomorrow. If not, be well and take care.